Hi, welcome to OK Karen.
Okay, Karen.
We are giving you a bonus episode. We are continuing our recap of one of our fun reality shows called The
Yes.
Circle.
Love
And
it.
we are now going to talk to you about episode 9 and 10. We hope you've been
Whoop,
following
whoop.
along with the first 8 episodes. And
We
now
are
we're going to
getting
get
there,
right
people.
into episode 9 because
Yes.
if you've been watching, you know there's a lot of cliffhangers.
Yes. And this starts with a huge cliffhanger.
Yes, huge. So, Sean just told us she told Chris and she told the two girls.
Hold on, can I interrupt you?
Mhm.
When you said Sean just told us, I was like, oh, what did Sean say? I'm thinking about your husband, Sean. What did he say?
The girl Sean from the show.
Yeah. Okay, I'm back. I'm back with you.
She just confessed to Chris and to Rebecca and Sammy that she has not been using her own pictures.
Right.
Dun, dun, dun. And then so we get to episode 9 and she shows us a picture of herself. And
the real her.
She says she's a plus size model. She's beautiful. Like she's a super cute girl.
She is.
So
yeah.
I could see how she's a model.
She's a model. Yes, she's a model. And okay, and Chris instantly is like, you are gorgeous. And I'm like, oh, Chris, I just love you. And I really do feel he means that.
I do too. And they've had a connection too. So he's gotten to know her a little bit.
Right.
And he likes her personality.
Yes.
And she said some stuff here because I was kind of wondering why she was revealing this about herself. If she's trying to win the game as using her friends' pictures, then she just is revealing it. But she says, I want people to know they can look like me and still be accepted. Yeah. And I was like, okay, that's good. That's a good reason why, she's now showing her pictures.
And Sammy and Rebecca both use the word brave when they are saying that, which I don't think that's brave. I think like a firefighter running into the building is brave.
I do.
But I think it's just being authentic. Like now that and she said, I don't have a problem with myself. I'm fine. Self-confidence. It's how other people would perceive me. That's why I did this.
And I really like that also.
Yes, me too. And I'm glad she said that because I would have thought, oh, do you have a problem with you? Have you not, So,
right. It would be assumed that she was insecure about the way she looked.
Exactly.
That's why she did it.
Exactly.
So I did, I made a note of that I like that she says she loves herself the way she is, but she thought that she wouldn't be able to succeed in a social media game with her own pictures, which I can see where she's coming from on that one. So
true. So then we go to alert. We got the ratings. Y'all have to rate. Just go start rating.
Hold on. I want to say one more thing about Sean. Sorry. So this group, sorry, Karen, I'm sorry. I'm being the Karen. So this group, the reveal of her real pictures goes over well. Like it's accepted. They're all very nice to her. It's Chris, Sammy, and Rebecca.
Yeah.
She does not reveal it to the other guys.
Yes.
Chris.
Right.
And she's still kind of like, I don't know if I'm ready to tell everybody. So I did think it was interesting that with this group that she chose, it was gold and everything was fine. Okay. Alert. We're going to do the ratings. You got to rate the people.
Yes. So they rate the people. And then alert, again, another alert. The least popular person that was ranked instantly blocked.
Now, this is the title of this episode 9. It says instant block, but I never noticed that. I never looked at the titles.
Yeah.
So this time when I watched it, not the first time, this time I watched it, I was like, oh, it's coming. But when I originally watched it, I was like, what the heck? You don't even get to like choose. You're just like, boom, whoever's number 8 is gone.
Everyone else is like, what the heck? So they bring it down. Do you want to go? So then instead of starting 8 to 1, they go 1 to 8. Number 1 is Rebecca.
Finally.
And she is like, he is jumping up and down. I mean, I'm telling you, these apartments have got to be soundproof because they are, all of them scream. And he's screaming.
And Seabird Rebecca has been like number 3 for a while.
Right.
So I'm not surprised that he got number 1. I'm still surprised that people don't think the super, super sweet, like naive act is an act. Like people really think it's real. I'm like, okay, whatever.
Yes. And
so he's number 1. Rebecca is.
Number 2 is Shuby. Good. Okay.
Very
Three
likable.
is three is Chris, four is Joey, five Sammy, six is Sean. Who's going to come in 7 and 8? 7 and 8. So it's between Adam/Alex and Bill. And remember last episode, Bill kind of ruffled some feathers with some too nice, like putting a comment. Remember, a negative comment. So
and I think Bill just came in and was like, seriously, everyone is like fake and super nice, which I could see where he would think that because everybody's just like, oh, great. You know, I'm like, well.
But he didn't even, it feels like he didn't even try to play the game. Like, play it a little bit to go further. And he just like, put the axe down. This is how I'm doing it.
Right.
And,
I agree.
And if everyone's playing it a little fake, you got to play it too, Bill. Or guess what? You're going to be number 8 and out of there. Which
Exactly.
is what happened.
They kept Adam. Unfortunately, I would have preferred Adam was last and Bill stayed.
I know.
But here we go. Alex is still there. I'm really happy with this lineup with Rebecca, Shubham, Chris, Joey, Sammy all being like safe.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's funny because it's the ones that have been there the whole time. The ones that are in the lowest are Sean, Adam, and Bill. So those 3, well, not Bill now because he's gone, instant block. But the other 2, Sean and Adam, are really going to have to work to like get approval from the other players to move up. Get ranked higher if they want to stick around.
Yes. So we blocked someone, done by Bill, but alert, another alert.
This was insane.
So, yes, and everyone is like, oh my gosh, more alerts. So now the top 2, Rebecca and Shuby, have to decide who they block because they still have to block someone, y'all.
And so even Ed and his mom, don't forget about Ed and his mom.
Oh yeah, they're sitting over there just watching because they can't.
They even were like, "Holy crap!" The first night we were here, they just blocked 2 one night. Like they haven't even. This is their first night in the game, and they're even like, "What?
Wow.
What's going on?"
Yes.
So people that have been there playing and actually could get blocked are scared.
So Rebecca and Shuby go up and they talk. And it's a long time. They go back and forth, and I don't think we need to go into all that unless you have
I just
something.
thought Rebecca, like, some of the things that Seaburn says, like, he says, Adam is 100% genuine. I'm like, Adam was flirting with you, and then he was flirting with, like, Adam is not 100% genuine. You've had more conversations with him than anybody else and felt like he was a player just trying to get ahead. That's not genuine. So I thought that was weird that Rebecca said that.
Yeah. And then they block Adam.
Yeah.
And I was so happy.
Which was Rebecca's decision.
Yes. So here's the thing. I was happy that they blocked Adam because he was getting on my nerves. And Adam, alert, gets to go meet one player. Who's he going to go meet?
Of course, Rebecca Seaburn.
Yes. So he gets dressed up in his tie-dye shirt with overalls.
And he says that, I better put on some fancy clothes. And he puts on his jean overalls.
And he goes and sees Rebecca. And they're like, oh, hey, because they're both catfishing. And they have a weird kind of, to me, fake conversation. Oh, man, I hope you win. Oh, I hope, man, I'm so happy you did this. Alex said, I wish I could have done that, been a girl, catfish the girl, You know
what I think it is? I think they're both like kind of quirky guys.
Yeah.
Really quirky guys. Like, okay, so Alex, it's obvious from the get-go with his clothes. But Seaburn's been very quirky the whole time too. In the videos we can see of him around the apartment, like how he
and
talks.
Seaburn also, when he talks as Rebecca, he talks like a little girl. I mean, he doesn't even talk like a man, He's like, yes, I do like you. I'm like, you could talk normal. I mean, they can't hear you.
Yes. So Seaburn and Alex have this kind of bond, I think, because they're both kind of quirky, dorky guys.
Yeah.
And then they've both been catfishing. So, when you meet someone else, you don't have to feel bad about catfishing the whole time when they've been doing it also. You can just like laugh it off. Versus if you met someone that was sincere and you've been pretending to have a relationship with them, that's kind of crappy,
Right. So they in the night, everyone's like, oh yeah, probably went and saw Rebecca. The next morning we wake up and
so hold on, I want to say something. Shuby made a point here about Rebecca choosing Adam. to block. And he was like, that wasn't a very strategic move because Adam really likes you, Rebecca. So if you want to be high in the rankings, you should have kept Adam around and got rid of Sean. And I was like, damn, Shuby. Like,
no, Shuby's playing the game. He's made a comment about something else.
I don't think he was originally, but he's starting to actually
he knows
think about things
to move up. Exactly.
Yeah, and he said some things like, well, I'm gonna support my friends as long as I can, but at some point, like, we'll see what happens. I'm like, okay, Shuby, not so innocent after all.
Go to sleep, wake up the next morning. Sean's profile picture has changed to the real Sean. And the other group that didn't see this and were not privy to the information are like, wow.
Yeah.
And this is where I feel not everyone's being genuine. Because Joey's like, thank you for showing your real self. The only person I feel that's a genuine, Shuby. Shuby is like, but why? Why did you come in lying? Why didn't you just come in as your real self in the beginning? He gets really mad about this. And in my mind, I'm thinking, Shuby, if you're so mad about this, wait till you find out your girl, Rebecca, ain't Rebecca.
I know. And he's been like, she's like a sister to me. And it's not even her. That's
not even
really
a sister
to him.
Yeah.
So here's what I think. Basically, I think Joey was being pretty sincere. Like, thank you for showing us your real self. Like, that took a lot of guts.
But not just Joey, like Joey's everyone,
character,
Rebecca
not
and
to like
everyone. Yeah.
Yeah. It seems like Joey's character not to like attack, especially like a girl in that situation. Like he knows enough to read like she's probably vulnerable. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which I like Joey more and more as the game goes on because I can see that.
He is for sure moving up in my list.
Yeah. So Shuby and Ed both are like, what? But Ed is like, I'm just going to be all sweet like everybody else and be like, you good girl. Because he's in no position to call somebody out about it. Shubham,
he doesn't want to be the next
confident.
Bill. What? He doesn't want to be the next
He doesn't want to be the next Bill, yeah. And so Shuby, I think, has gotten more confident. But I also think that Shuby, because he's always himself, he literally can't imagine coming in as someone else.
Right.
Like, I think that he's like, why would you do that? Just be yourself and people will accept it. But he maybe has never been in a position in his life where he felt like so ostracized that he couldn't be himself. You know what I mean? Or like, I honestly think he doesn't even like consider that she would have feelings and reasons for that. Like, I think he's just like, you should just be yourself, which she should just be herself. But I don't think he can put himself in her shoes.
Can you hear me when I'm okay, good. I'm just making sure. But he really gets mad. Like he gets mad.
He does. So, and he kind of holds on to it. Like, she shouldn't have done that. I'm like,
yes.
But also I want to be like, Shuby, you've seen Mercedes did that.
Right.
It's
part of the game.
Well, he hasn't seen Alex yet. So, and he doesn't know Rebecca. Who else do we have? Is that it? There's 3?
No, there was another catfish that because he said I called it. Oh, it was Mercedes.
Yeah. Okay.
So big group chat with all that. Yay, Sean. We like you, Sean. We still love you, blah, blah, blah. So then we see Bill's message. Bill leaves a message. And everyone is like, is it really Bill? Is it really Bill? It's a real Bill. It's a real Bill. And he calls out people he calls them all out for being fake.
This kind of surprised me, and they did not take it well. First of all, I thought he was talking specifically about like a catfish or something.
To each person, because Sandy was like, I'm not fake. I'm not fake. And then Shuby's like, who's being fake? I'm like, you. Rebecca even said, I don't know what he's talking about being fake. Put a mirror up, Rebecca. Put a mirror up.
But he was not even saying catfish. He was saying everyone is so nice to each other. Nobody's really sharing what they really think. Everyone is just like pretending for the game. And I don't think they got that. I think they thought he was saying like, you're not being yourself, like you're being catfish. But he's like, no, you're just not telling it like it is. You're not being honest.
Exactly. Yeah.
So they did not like that from Bill.
No. And then right behind his message was Adam's message, and they found out he's Alex.
Which
Now,
I liked his message.
I was going to say that. I have not been a fan of Adam/Alex this whole time, but his last message I really did like. I was
I
like,
agree, yeah,
okay,
100%.
yes.
That what he did at the end. You know, he was just like, hey, it was a lot of fun. You know, you guys like, I don't know. He was just like, that was good, and
Yeah,
you know,
hashtag circle for family for life or something like
right.
that.
He also
Yeah.
apologized. He said, I apologize. I have been with my girlfriend, now wife, for 11 years. I have not
Yes.
flirted in a long time. I apologize if I went over the limit or if I creep people out, which I thought that was good. Like,
And that was really cute too, because he's been with her for, and because every girl said that. And remember, he started off with the arouse, and I mean, he did say some things that we were like, oh, what? Stop.
That's why I can't believe he came back from it in a way. Like the fact that Rebecca was saying like, oh, well, maybe she was just being nice. Maybe Seymour was just being nice when she said he's like 100% genuine. I'm like,
yeah.
It's also real creepy.
So then everyone thinks Rebecca is like, oh, poor Rebecca. She must be devastated. She must be shocked. She's so sweet. And Ed is like talking to his mama, I don't think Rebecca's real.
I know. Ed calls it.
Yes.
And maybe because he has only been there 24 hours, he's like, this girl can't be right.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because everybody else has like a history with her that's kind of blinding them to the fact that this doesn't really like add up.
And then that's how episode 9 ends. Ed saying, I'm not buying it.
Well, and I just wonder, like, has Seymour and Rebecca really given any opinions the whole time that aren't just like super, super sweet?
She is so Switzerland, it's ridiculous. She has never picked a side on anything, or, it is just, oh yeah, that sounds great. Oh, that's wonderful. Oh, I love you too. Oh, she is not rocking any boat on this game.
Well, and even like, she's kind of over the top, even with like, okay, say the Adam thing. So Adam chooses her for a date or whatever, sends her the teddy bear. They're both like, and she's like, this has been breathtaking. I mean, come on, that's a lot.
No one talks like that.
And so and then when Sammy says he was flirting with me also later, she's just like, oh, I'm really sad to hear that. We had such a good connection, and like, it's really like, whatever. But again, you would be like, screw you, Bill, like, or screw you, Adam. I'm not like giving you the time of day. Like most girls would have some kind of reaction besides, well, he seemed like a great guy, and I have my heart broken now. Like, that's an interesting reaction,
But maybe that's just the way she plays the game, Who knows?
Okay.
All right,
let's
10. Go 10. So 10 starts with Chris and Sammy chatting.
Yes, I love this.
Yeah, I do too. They have to, they're just so, I like both of them. So I'm not.
And they're finally starting to click.
Yeah.
Like he's like, oh, she's my bitch, like whatever. They actually start being friends. Whereas before, I think they knew each other, but they weren't like besties. Like Mercedes,
you would say acquaintances. Yes.
But now they're kind of like, they like each other.
Yeah. And then Joey and Sean have their own little private talk.
Mm-hmm. So what else? Do you want to say anything about the Chris and Sammy one? Because I do.
No.
Okay, in this conversation, Chris and Sammy, they start doubting Rebecca's sweetness and naivety, remember? So they're like, oh, poor Rebecca, right? And then Chris is like, yeah, poor Rebecca, but who's crying? What girl is crying over a guy that she has only known for 3 days? Like, I learned that when I was in 2nd grade. Like, you don't cry over a boy or whatever before you know him. And Sammy was like, that's true. Like, and then they both were kind of like, yeah, that's kind of like weird. They started thinking like, maybe Sammy is like putting on a show.
Rebecca.
Here. Yeah. So, Rebecca is putting on a show here. So Sammy and Chris are starting to kind of see something there. Then Sam and Joey.
Sean and Joey. I got you, girl. Sean and Joey have their little private talk about Sean saying, I just didn't, sorry, but I just didn't think someone like you would, hang out with someone like me, and kind of woe me, but Joey is Joey, and that should never, I'm not that type, blah, blah, blah. So anything else you want to say about that?
No, not right now.
So then we go to state your case.
This is
They
hard.
say, yes, but they do say there is no more new players. And everyone is like, oh, thank you.
Thank
Whoever
God.
the winner of the circle is amongst you right now.
Yes.
So state your case is you get to pick who you think your rival is and why you deserve to win over them. And that is kind of hard because you have to throw someone out there. And then
you pretty
kinda-
much have to throw someone under the bus. There's a couple of people that tried not to, but I'm like, okay, now you're just being fake. Like that's not, you know what I mean? You're being a politician right now.
Yes.
You just should say what you think.
So we can break it down, but I do want to say overall in this whole state your case game, you see the original 5 are loyal to each other.
They are, yeah.
Like, don't get on them. They will come after you. And to me, I'm like, good for them. Because, you know, they've been through so much. But do you want me to start with
yeah, go ahead. First one, Sean.
So Sean, and she says her rival is Sammy. And she says, you know, blah, blah, blah. But Sammy hasn't taken a risk.
Like I have.
I'm like, yes. And I'm like, whoa, you're new. You don't know what Sammy's done, what she did, you know, 5 days ago. You're new. And Sammy even said, take a risk. You don't even know me. And so, and that's when the other ones are like, oh, don't call out our girl, Sammy, you know?
Well, they're like, you haven't been here. Sammy's been taking this. Sammy has been an influencer, had to block people. Like you just don't know Sammy because you haven't been here.
Yes. And Chris is like, this is so funny to me. I thought Chris said, "Ooh, girl, this is better than a soap opera." So the next, go ahead. Do you want?
So Shuby says Joey is his biggest rival.
No, go back. The next one is Sammy.
Okay, Sammy says Sean. Go ahead.
Sean, and she said Sean came in as someone else. That's why I should be. And I was like, dang. And Shuby is still like, that's right. You know, he's mad about that.
I thought this was interesting because Sammy was very supportive when Sean revealed her pictures.
Right.
But then when you have to call it out and say why I should win instead of a person, you've got to choose something to talk about. You know?
And she just chose you, so why not go right back at her?
Yeah.
So then next is the one you said.
So Shubham picked Joey, which I was a little surprised about. It does show that Shubham is like, he's always saying what the truth is, you know?
Right.
But his reason, like you could tell he didn't really have a reason and he didn't want to throw Joey under the bus. So he's like, Joey's my biggest rival and I've had to do more because I've been influencer. How many times? Joey's only been influencer once. So I've had to block a lot more people and it's been hard for me. That's why I deserve to win. Which is kind of a BS answer. And Joey's response is kind of like,
it's really nice.
I'm always there for you, bro. But also, he didn't really say anything against Josie person either. So Joey doesn't have to defend himself. He's just like, whatever. I'd be happy if either one of us win, basically.
Yeah. And then this is where I thought was a cop out kind of.
I wrote cop out here.
Me too.
That's all I wrote. Like cop out.
Me too. Cop out.
There's a reason we both like this.
Do y'all see what we do for this podcast? We take notes and everything.
So Rebecca.
Her biggest rival is Ed.
Okay, let me just stop here for a second. Rebecca,
you
got number 1. You were ranked number 1 last time. Ed has been there 24 hours with his mom, no less, and wasn't even in the rankings. Ed is not your biggest rival. I'm sorry. You could have picked Shuby, you could have picked Joey, you could have picked Chris, you could have picked Sammy, you could have picked anybody else. Sean, anybody.
Yeah.
But you picked Ed, who nobody knows jack about.
He says that he picked Ed because he's a new factor and and then he said, what did he say about voice and decisions? I don't even know what he said about that, but I wrote those down. I forgot what he said.
I don't know what he said either. Because
he found his voice. Rebecca has found her voice now and she's making decisions. But I'm like, but again, Ed, he's a new factor.
He is not your rival.
He's not influencing anyone.
No. And
that's a total cop-out on his part.
Total cop-out, Rebecca, which I'm not surprised because that's how Rebecca plays the game.
Right,
She's not going to ruffle any feathers. She's just going to say, I like Ed because Ed is gonna find his voice and maybe turn everybody against me. I don't know what she was talking
Well,
about.
I'm surprised she didn't pick like Alex or Mercedes.
Alex is gone.
I know, but that's how Rebecca is. She's not gonna ruffle.
I'm surprised she didn't say herself.
Right. I think Rebecca.
My biggest rival is myself. If I am not true to myself, if I don't speak up because I'm so shy, if I don't speak up for myself, then I could not win.
Just ridiculous.
Okay, so she deserves to win. Why does she say she deserves to win over Ed?
Because she has found her voice and she's making her own decisions.
Okay,
Shut up. Sit down.
Rebecca.
So then Chris, and he picks Shuby as his biggest rival. And I don't know why. I didn't write anything down.
I didn't write anything either, and I can't remember. I think, he said something about because Shuby has come into the game. They both have come in and been themselves and been completely like authentic the whole time. So he said that's why he's his biggest rival. He said Chris said he deserves to win over Shuby because when he came in, he didn't know what he was doing or how to play the game.
Oh, yeah. That's right.
And that was really weird to me because it was obvious to everybody that Shuby didn't know what the heck he was doing.
He was
if
number
anybody
8.
Didn't know, it was Shuby.
Yeah. He was the last one.
So I didn't think that was a great reason for Chris. I feel like Chris just didn't really have any.
Yeah. So then Ed is up, and Ed picks Rebecca, and then Ed kind of calls Rebecca out here,
which is good.
Yes, and when he calls Rebecca out, other people are like, "Whoa!" Like
they don't.
Chris and Sammy are both like, "Huh? We just talked about this."
And they do not go to bat like they other do for the other original members.
The way they did for Sammy, they did not go for Rebecca.
And he called her out way worse than Sean did for Sammy.
For sure.
So he was like, I'm authentic. I'm 100% real with you. I'm a straight shooter. And I can't say that about Rebecca. And I was like, dang. And then Sammy's so cute. She's like, oh, I wish I could test Chris right now.
I know.
Going on? And she can't talk to her friend about it.
The last one, Joey picks Rebecca and hashtags shy or calculated.
Joey!
And everyone is like, what? Are mind blown. And Ed and his mom are like, yes.
Joey also says a lot here because he's like, Shuby, we are both the closest to with Shubham. And he was like, and I worry, she's my biggest rival because I worry if Shubham has to choose, he might choose Rebecca over me.
Right.
And he's like, but I deserve to win because I've been real the whole time. And then the hashtag shy or calculated, I was like, dang, Joey.
I was like, look at Joey. Grew a pair.
I was very surprised that Joey was willing to take such a bold move this late in the game.
Yeah.
Because he's looking at, turning Rebecca against him. And we're about to do ratings again. And and Shubham could be turned against him also.
Yeah.
You know?
So after all this, Sammy and Sean chat, just to make sure everything's good. We're all okay. You got anything to say about that? Yeah, me neither.
They seem like they're friends.
Yeah. So then we have an alert. Rate your people. So everyone rates.
And they show us a lot of the ratings this time.
Yes. Yes.
I thought it was nice because you do wonder, like, how are they doing
what they're thinking. Yeah.
Yeah.
So then we have, after the ratings are over, another alert. 2 alerts in a row.
Hold on.
And this alert. What?
I have to say 2 things about the ratings.
Okay.
Because I think it's important.
Okay.
Joey put his boy Shubham 5th. Did you notice that? He was like, I hate this so much, but I got to go with my gut. I'm putting Shuby 5th. And I was like, dang. And I think it was part of the game because Shuby always gets so high that he was trying to make Shuby a little bit lower. So he put him as 5th. And I was like, damn, Joey. And then Sammy put Sean put Joey as 1st. That's important for later. And also, Sammy, I put down that Sammy put Sean as 1st, which shocked me.
Well, maybe she was playing the game too, like Joey.
Maybe she was, because I was
bringing people down.
I mean, they just had that little chit chat, but I was like, are you really that close? Closer than your boys?
No.
So anyway, okay, moving on. Alert,
So,
another alert right after the readings.
Yes, the results will not be published. What they learned is there's going to be a super influencer, one person. They're not saying either who the super influencer is. They're just going to let them know, hey, you're it. And then that super influencer alone decides who is blocked. So everyone is like, who is it?
But it's anonymous.
Is it me? Yes.
Which is nice because you can decide without having to tell everybody.
So the super influencer is?
Joey!
Yay! I was so happy for him.
I was. He was a nervous wreck, though.
Yeah, poor thing. So, where am I? There I am. Sorry. So he has to decide who to block. And he really is deciding between Sean and Rebecca. I thought he was going to go with Rebecca.
I wonder if he didn't want to burn bridges.
I think that was it. 100%. Because, okay, who does he block? Just say who he blocks.
He blocked Sean. But, Rebecca was number 1 the last meeting.
Yes. But
so I was like, ooh, you could get her out. And even if you burn bridges with Shoe Bomb, it's not that bad,
But he said he did not block Rebecca. So he can, because this is anonymous. He could have blocked and no one would have known. Now, could they have figured it out? Possibly. And then people would have been mad at him. But that's not 100%. So he blocks Sean and says, lets people know, hey, I was a super influencer and I kept you and I kept you and I kept you. Because he wants, after the fact. And I'm like, why did you tell people you were it? And even Ed says, why did you tell people?
I'll tell you why. He did.
Why?
First of all, huge shock that you forgot.
Yes.
He is anonymously blocks Sean. He thinks he's done. And then the screen pops up and says, you're not doing it in the message chat. You have to go
talk
her
to him
in person.
Yes.
Face to face to block this person. I was like, I felt so bad for Joey.
But he handled it like a champ.
He did. But also I felt really bad for Sean and her little heart because she chose Joey as number 1. And then he came and blocked her. And I was like, and I know he did it because of the game. Like he didn't have any ill feelings towards her or anything. So anyway, so he goes in person. They have a nice little chat. I do feel bad for her. And then the next day, I think it's the next day, he does tell people, and I'll tell you why he tells them. Because he wants them to know, especially Rebecca.
Yeah.
And
I said, Shuby.
He wants Rebecca and Shuby to know.
Yes.
I didn't get rid of Rebecca after I made that comment.
He had your back because he wants to build up rapport from them.
Because hashtag shy or calculated, he needs to kind of tell them, okay, but I still have your back, even though I said shy or calculated, because he could have gotten Rebecca. If he wanted to, he could have got rid of her.
Right. 100%. And I think he should have, but whatever. So then Sean has a video and she kind of calls Joey out a little bit here. And I felt kind of bad because I don't think he deserved it, but that's me. What about you?
I think she was hurt and, he had said some nice things to her, which is why she voted him number 1. And then he had to block her. And I do think it was 100% the game. He was like, if I get rid of one of these other people, this could be really bad. Because, Sean would have kept voting for him. That's the thing. If he kept Sean would have, he didn't know that he voted her. No, she voted him number 1 though.
Yeah.
But anyway, so that was kind of a sad note to end on.
Yeah, and that's how it ends. So there's not a real big cliffhanger in this ending, which is kind of the first time you see something like this. But yeah, we only have episode 11 and 12. Is 12
was like the reunion finale.
Yes.
So really we just have episode 11.
Yeah. So y'all, we're almost done with this. I hope you've enjoyed these.
Ooh, we're at 35 minutes. We gotta go.
Episode 11 coming up.
All right, everybody.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.
See you later.